Good morning everyone. In this video, I'm going to analyze EU and DXY live to see what day trading opportunities there may be today. You're going to see my strategy and my technical analysis. So if you're interested in those, then please stick around. Finally, no more bank holidays left. We're now back to normal conditions. Right, here we are on a daily. On the top is EU. On the bottom is DXY as usual. You can see yesterday we continued our bearish trend, our bearish momentum on EU. We closed out with this massive bearish engulfing candle, closing below previous weekly and daily lows. Inversely on DXY, obviously we have closed with a bullish engulfing candle above the previous weekly high and previous daily high. We've now spiked above these previous daily highs here. So as you can see, we closed below it. So we swept that buy side liquidity from there. Today so far, you can see we've taken our previous daily low sell side liquidity and previous daily high buy side liquidity on DXY. And so far we are rejecting that. Let me zoom in a little so that's clearer. So if I zoom back out, we will see that on the daily, we have a low here and a high low here. And we have a high here and high here. So that is obvious SMC divergence, which may signal weakness on DXY, at least for the time being. We also have this old unmitigated imbalance here. So we mitigated it to about 50%, where DXY turned around and had this bearish pullback here. But we still have 50% more to go. And I believe DXY will obviously want to close that imbalance there. And you could say this is also an order block. So other than that, on the daily, there's not much else to see. We are definitely in some sort of bearish trend, but we have our divergence at the lows here. However, I guess this will still be a sell side liquidity target. So let's go on to the intradays, onto the 4 hour and see what that looks like. So on the 4 hour here, just gonna start off zoomed out just to make sure we can see these liquidity points. So overnight and yesterday, you can see we took this low here. So this will be sell side liquidity mitigated. We also have this slight low here that might be clearer on the 1 hour. And we've only just barely swept it, but I've marked it anyway, just so we're aware of its presence. So it may have taken sell side liquidity from here as well. We have our SMC divergence, which is very clear from this low to this low and from this high to this high. And you can also see we swept buy side liquidity from previous high on DXY as well. Other than that, we can see the clear trend. If we zoom in onto the 4 hour, you can see we've got our 4 hour leg. I would count probably from here to here as the entire leg, but you could also maybe see it from here to here. However, if we was to draw this out here to here, I don't think we made it back to a premium. We stayed in this possible discount, but either way we have a bearish leg. And I think what's even more obvious is that we can say, yes, we are in a discount of price again. Also on DXY here, we can see we've got our high low, high as well. Of course, during this massive bearish price action, we've left behind imbalances, which price would like to fill. So we could put a note here saying imbalance draw on price, right? So obviously it's a higher time frame draw on price, and we have that on both, right? We've taken sell side liquidity from previous lows, and we have our SMC divergence. We've taken previous daily lows as well with a price draw above. So it's already painting a picture that possibly we could have a bullish pullback from this area. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see how that looks. So on the 1 hour, it's more of the same, but the leg becomes a bit clearer. Of course, we have our high here and our low down here now, right? All of this sort of price action here I wouldn't count it as a pullback, because it's more like overnight price action. So I would still see it as part of the same leg. We obviously have our big imbalance here and a small imbalance above here, and that's more into a premium. So price may pull back to that area around where this previous weekly low is, which I guess if we look at other theories, we could see that as a breaker block. So price may reject around this area. We've taken loads of sell side liquidity, and we are currently rejecting that area. You can see price is moving very bullish. So price appears to be drawn. This is all buy side liquidity trend line here on the lower time frame, which we'll see. And we have our massive imbalance draw on price. So it looks good for the pullback, if I'm honest. You can see where my bias is going already. We're in a discount. We've got imbalances to draw on price. We've got SMC divergence indicating strength. We've got major external sell side liquidity taken plus internal sell side liquidity. So let's have a look on the M15 and see what opportunities we may have for today. So I'm just going to draw this trend line out here so it's very clear that we can see this liquidity. This liquidity above here, it's all very clear. Internal highs as buy side liquidity all the way up to at least this point. Price hopefully isn't going to take all of that without letting us in. What do we have today? So we can see again, obviously we've taken that sell side liquidity. Price is finding some sort of bullish reaction now from here. We've got the same trend line here. We've also got a gap on DXY from overnight. At the very minimum, I think DXY is going to head for this gap. I would say it's likely to fill this gap. It may even do that now before pulling back for any type of trade. It's unusual for DXY to leave an imbalance for very long. So I imagine we will see that. So on the M15, you can see we've already possibly got a break of structure happening here. This may actually be clear on the 5 minute. So for the moment, I'm just going to go down to the 5 minute. Yeah, so on the 5 minute, you can see we've got an internal sweep. Frankfurt swept Asia. So Asia's lows were swept and that started this bullish run. Unfortunately, we don't have a very easy and traditional order block. Let's say like this, an order block here of an imbalance and momentum. We moved kind of correctively here, not leaving a great imbalance and order block to trade from, because I would love to trade this, you know, target in the highs. But there may be a way in, right? Because there's definitely an order block here, but it just doesn't have an imbalance. Preferably, I would have loved if London had swept Frankfurt again, and then we got that momentum to leave a clear order block behind. So that would have looked something like this. If it does that, that'd be great. But take this sell side liquidity once again, and it'll be an even clearer break of this sell side liquidity from here. And then price could go on, create a higher high, pull back to the order block, and then we can trade upwards, right? I'm not going to annotate this one very well, but I'll just put in the basics. We could have our order block around here and we can target those highs with the stop loss just below the lows, right? There's plenty risk reward available there. I don't know, with the way price is moving, it's already causing this breaks of structures. Let's go up to the M15 and see what we have available, because we have this 5 minute order block, you could say. I believe that 5 minute order block is also where this M15 imbalances, right? And there's this M15 order block here that swept the lows and now we're breaking above the highs. So let me just draw in the example here of what we could possibly trade. Right, so we have our break of structure here, we have our imbalance below here. So this is something I may actually look to execute. We had our sweep of sell side liquidity there, which is more visible on the lower time frame, but we also took higher time frame sell side liquidity already. We have our buy side liquidity highs here to aim for. Never mind, we have this high time frame draw on price here in this imbalance. We are in a discount as well. So all of those are confluences, all of those contribute to my strategy. Right, we have that breaker structure that should, well, it may or may not close in the next 9 minutes above this high more clearly. Let me zoom back in a little bit. We could get our order, our long position order here. We could put our stop loss just below the lows for, let's see where that low is. Yeah, we'll round it down to 40. And how that would look, obviously, would be for price to pull back now, preferably leave an inducement. Be something like this, okay? So we would have our inducement here just before the order block. We would have our corrective pullback. We've got our break of structure already happening here, and we can aim to go higher, right? So usually I draw this all out in theory, but it's happening right in front of us because the price is already moving. We have DXY has taken buy side liquidity, obviously. DXY is also breaking structure. Go down to the 5 minutes if it makes it any clearer for you. So yeah, we have our break of structure again here. We can put in a line here just so it's clearer. As I said, we have our 15M imbalance here, which is literally around the point of where this 5-minute order block is. The only issue I would see is that, you know, London didn't sweep Frankfurt, but Frankfurt swept Asia. So usually we'll head to the other side of Asia at least. We have all this buy side liquidity here. So that is the first opportunity that I see. That is the clearest. The only other opportunity I would look for with the longs is if we sweep this low again, like I initially drew, and break a high. Clearly are in a discount, and we should be heading for more of a premium. I don't see any sells at the moment at all here. I wouldn't want to sell. If we was to sell from this discount, just hypothetically, I would need to see a strong break below these lows, and I would need to see that big bearish candle close below it on the high time frame, and then we pull back on the lower time frame to some sort of POI to head lower, right? Just like how we do here. It won't be my favorite. We've taken loads of sell side liquidity. I would rather be buying from here because we're trying to follow where the liquidity would head for. Of course, if we take sell side liquidity, price needs buy side liquidity. So I'm more so looking for this than I would be looking for this. Despite it being the trend, I think there's enough confluences for us to trade counter trend at the moment. As we can see, price is already showing us that. And will we get the pullback? I don't know. I hope so. Especially before taking Asia highs, it would be even better if we leave some easy buy side liquidity behind for us. But I'm not sure we're going to get that. It looks like the sweep may be enough for it to take the other side of Asia. But this is the one I'm hoping for. If we are going to look for sells, I'm going to need that to be somewhere up here. Okay, so on the M15 or M5, price is going to need to be up here, and we're going to need structure to form, buy side liquidity to be swept internally here, break down, pull back, and then we can enter the trade. So I'll annotate this. We take that buy side liquidity. We have our order block here on the lower time frame. We have our possible inducement there, and we would set our order. So I would need that to be in that higher time frame imbalance, and then you can trade lower. Okay, so it needs to look something like that. But this is the immediate opportunity. In my opinion, I'm not looking at anything except the buys at the moment. I hope you gained value from that. Anything you want to know or any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.